Greeting, Mr. President. My name is Saurabh Chamanara, and this is my 8th virtual audience with you. Mr. President, at my previous audiences with you, I explained how the present Shia is different from its original form at 14 centuries ago, when it was invented by Iranians to protest the Islamic government imposed on them by Salman the Persian. For the last 40 years, the protest against the Shia constitution, which Ayatollah Khomeini said in the Shia terminology, khud'a, has grown from first as a dialogue and discussion between students in all universities in Iran, became a public declared manifestation by 14 Iranian political activists inside Iran at June 11, 2 months ago. Mr. President, let us concentrate on the 70 years history of Iran and how Iran fell into this low. The two heroes of the Second World War, British Prime Minister Churchill and President Eisenhower, decided to remove the government of Mossadegh and reestablish the Shah, since they concluded a democracy of Mossadegh cannot hold the expansion of the communism at 1953. The Shah, a Swiss educated with his most beautiful wife Soraya, who was known as a king from 1941, in the most democratic government maybe in the world, all of a sudden changed after 1953 and ignored the 1906 Iranian constitution, and for 25 years achieved a lot of social and economical development in Iran with his own constitution, ignoring many warnings even from President Kennedy. This ignoring 1906 constitution, or in another word, dictatorship, resulted an unknown clergy to topple Pahlavi dynasty. That unknown clergy was Khomeini, who went to Paris and declared a freedom manifestation in 37 items and fooled Iranians how the Islamic government will look like. Even President Carter thought another Gandhi is born in Iran. That is why the plot of Ayatollah Khomeini, which is historically similar to what Salman the Persian did 14 centuries ago, with that plot, 98.2% of the Iranians in a referendum voted yes to the Islamic government, not the constitution, at April 1st, 1979. This yes vote was for the government which Ayatollah Khomeini drew its picture 6 months before, not the constitution which quietly imposed on the Iranian people for the last 40 years. Later, when Ayatollah was asked by a reporter that you said many good things about the Islamic government when you were in Paris, and how this constitution became the law of the land, he replied with a smile, "Khud'a kardam," meaning I lied. However, there were many protests against the constitution. Even highest ranking Ayatollah Talabani, left Tehran as a protest. But the deadliest protest happened in Kurdistan against the Islamic constitution. With this constitution, they started Hezbollah in Lebanon at 1979, hostage taking interfering with the affair of the neighboring countries, etc. And history of terrorism is in the past 40 years is a public knowledge. Mr. President, my concern and the reason for these audiences is the future and how this Ayatollah regime could bring harm to America with many of their cronies with billions of dollars in their European and American bank accounts. Thank you, Mr. President, for listening.